Thanks for tuning in to the Saturday Morning Show, which is sponsored by HB Neal Construction. I'm meteorologist Johnny Lively, and let's look at the current radar, sponsored by Dana Simmons Real Estate Team. It is awfully quiet this morning, and majority of the morning should be quiet. It's not until we get into the afternoon we can start seeing that 10% coverage for a couple isolated showers. Look at the satellite and radar. It is awfully quiet, not only here in Texas, but majority of Louisiana. Very limited showers across Louisiana. Just one little pop-up just to the north and one little pop-up just southwest of Baton Rouge. Very, very limited, and the reason for that is, thanks to Switch Electric, we can show you lots of dry air continues across the south and continues all the way down into the Gulf. So as long as you keep this October-like pattern, it's going to be very hard to come by not only tropics, but it's going to be very hard to come by any type of rainfall in our area with this type of pattern. So that's good. It keeps the tropics away, and I guess it's not too good because it keeps the rain away if you're wanting the rain. Here's the temperatures across the United States. Thanks to our sponsor of Do Good Credit Union. You can see areas like Denver at 57, Oklahoma City at 66, a little bit warmer in Dallas at 76, down towards Houston and New Orleans, we are into the 70s. Beaumont currently at 64, Sour Lake 68. Further to the north, they're into the upper 60s as well. Lake Charles at 70 degrees. A good portion of Louisiana is really ranging from the upper 60s to some areas getting into the low 70s. Houston a little bit warmer at 75. Galveston very warm this morning versus everybody else at 80 degrees. But that's typically how it would be. They're right next to the warm waters of the Gulf. Neutron Electrical Services showing us that high pressure ridge has built over the state of Texas, and it looks to really stay over our region not only the next couple of days, but even as we get into middle of next week. So notice as we get into Monday, still have this ridge over our area into the Plains region as well too. So as long as that sits up, that's going to keep the dry air pattern going. Notice all of this dry air getting into our area. Some green, a little bit of limited moisture comes in, and that's what can give us 10% coverage or less really every single day. So we can get some showers, but it's very, very limited, and it's not typically what we see this time of year. Again, September is our wettest month, but with this type of pattern, this is going to keep us on the dry side. Here's our Futurecast, sponsored by Modern Concrete Materials. We can see later on this afternoon, there's that limited moisture coming in, giving us some limited showers, just 10% coverage later on this afternoon, getting into the evening time hours. Dies down overnight. Sunday morning, very quiet. We get into the afternoon hours, getting closer to the evening time hours. We have that limited moisture, giving us 10% coverage once again across the area. So Saturday and Sunday, very similar. We're going to have 10% coverage, very similar in the temperature department as well too. We should be across the region into the low to mid 90s. Areas like Lufkin might try to get into the upper 90s, but we really see that we're going to be stuck into the low to mid 90s across the region. Overnight lows for Saturday night getting into Sunday morning. Areas far to the north, they can get into the upper 60s to low 70s along the I-10 corridor from Houston to Beaumont to Lake Charles and even into Lafayette. We will be into the low to mid 70s. Galveston at 81 degrees, and majority of the coast should be into the upper 70s overnight tonight into Sunday morning. So we watch the tropics. We have this tropical wave that is off the coast of Africa near the Cape Verde Islands, dealing with lots of dry air. National Hurricane Center going with 50% coverage in the next 5 to 7 days. I don't see anything in the short term because it's dealing with so much dry air. Maybe by middle of next week, this can try to get its act together, but right now, dealing with a lot of dry air. Notice it's limited showers and thunderstorms. You're not seeing any spin in that Cape Verde region because of that limited, really lots of dry air limiting it. Lots of dry air in the Gulf. Look at that, just surging southward, and that is also lots of wind shear as well, too. So overall, big X over there in the Gulf, or over here in the Gulf. This is completely shut down tropics-wise because of that. Notice all the dry air, all that dust over there towards Africa. That's what that system's going to be dealing with really in the short term, the next 2, 3, 4 days. It's not until middle of next week we see it thin out a little bit. That's when it has this window of opportunity to try to get a little bit better organized. So notice in the short term, it's just a blob of showers and thunderstorms, right? As we get into middle of next week, that's when we might see a little bit of spin, a little bit of organization because that dry air kind of thins out a little bit. That's when this could become a tropical depression, but upper level flow is wanting to keep this out to sea. Not going to be an issue for the Caribbean and not going to be an issue for the Gulf. Here's our 7-day forecast. Little to no rain is really expected the next couple of days, really the next 7 days. You could say 10% coverage or less the next 5 to 7 days. Temperatures are slightly above average. We should be around 90, 91 degrees. but our temperatures will be anywhere from 94, 92 to 93 degrees. So yes, we are slightly above average in the temperature department, and we are definitely on the dry side of things. Southwest of Louisiana, same song and dance. 10% coverage or less the next 5 to 7 days. High pressure ridge builds into our region, keeping our temperatures just slightly above average. So that's our Saturday morning show. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. I won't see y'all again until Monday morning, but Lucas will have his evening video on Sunday evening. We will still have posts throughout the weekend on our Facebook, and we also will have our channel going for 24/7 access on YouTube. So don't forget to check that out. Have a wonderful Saturday, and thanks for joining us.